continuing the insurance basics, but we're talking about, okay, I'm a brand new agent. I've just got licensed. I'm excited. I'm still fired up out of my mind. I'm ready to go help these clients, and I'm ready for money. What's next? Okay. You obviously got to call leads and book appointments. Or if you don't use leads, you've got to have some sort of referral program. Hey, you can go door knock, you can cold call, whatever you want. Any of that stuff that you're not going to do, at least have a way to get in front of clients, to get in front of potential sales. And that's one of the reasons why we have a lead-based program, so that if you don't like to cold call, if you don't like to go door to door, if you don't like to bug your friends and family, people that have already sent in a request asking for help. And I've showed this before, but this right here, Greenville County, South Carolina. This is probably 18 to 24 months, maybe 30 months worth of lead, top to bottom, that I still have not called. Like, these are leads that I can't get to these people. Why? Because I'm busy enough with the clients that we're already taking care of, other leads that we're already dialing. It's just like, I mean, my point is, like, the requests are out there. People want what we have. They're asking for it. They're filling out mailers that come to their house. Like, most of you, like, every day I walk up to my mailbox during my lunchtime, check the mail. I come back home or walk back down the driveway. And by the time I've gotten to the house, there's a big green trash can sitting in front of the garage that ends up with all the junk mail in it that doesn't even make it into the house. And what's crazy to me is, like, when these forms come to people, whether it's a little postcard talking about final expense benefits, mailer talking about mortgage protection, most of y'all are pretty sensible, reasonable people. And as you're sorting through your mail, like, you can figure out pretty quick, yep, need to take care of that one. Oh, that's a bill, got to pay that. Oh, I got a wedding invite. Okay, I got to check the date. And then about half, by the time you're to your front door, you've already sorted through what do I keep and what's junk mail, what's going in the dumpster. But the crazy thing to me is that people actually, they open junk mail. Like, that blows my mind. Like, you're pre-approved for a personal loan of up to $50,000, and people actually open their little letter opener out and they read it and like, oh, somebody wants to lend me money, and it's just, they're thinking about me. That's beautiful. And it's just like junk mail. People open it and read it, and then they actually respond to the shit in there. They fill it out and they, I want to look into this. Did you know that with direct mail leads, less than 1%, maybe 1.5%, it's small, less than 1 to 1.5% of all direct mail solicitations that go out all across the country, less than 1 to 1.5% actually gets filled out and responded to. If this is 1 to 1.5% over the last 20 months, there's a crap ton of mailers going out and people actually open it and read it and are like, yeah, that's a good idea, and respond to it. And then we get it in the form of these leads. So my point being is, it beats the hell out of cold calling. It beats the hell out of walking in South Carolina humidity and weather during the summer months and knocking on doors, showing people your insurance license and saying, hey, do you need life insurance? The leads that we have, I'm telling you right now, and I know there's a lot of lead programs out there. I know there's a lot of, take it from somebody that's been in insurance for a dozen years. The direct mail lead program that NAA has, by far and away the best lead program in the country, hands down. So people call me all the time, hey Hutch, have you tried the bang bang leads? I'm like, bang, I'm not sure what a bang bang lead is. So that would, or about the Facebook leads, or the integrity a lead's a lead. I'll stand on that all day long. And if that's what fits your budget, do it. You got to start somewhere. You just got to be willing to put the work in. You got to be willing to pick up the phone. Talking to one girl the other day on the team, and last week she made 400 dials in a week. That's for somebody who's still relatively new. That's very impressive. We used to say when I first started, hey, minimum 250 dials. Homegirl went and did almost double in a week to try and get the results that she needed. And she didn't book a bunch of appointments. So what that tells me is, hey, I don't know what kind of lead she got a follow-up conversation that we're going to be talking about that. But either the quality of the leads aren't as good and she's just having to put in more work, or we got to kind of work on what she's saying on the phone in order to be able to book more appointments in fewer dials. But my point being is she's willing to work. You can't make 4 dials or 40 dials and be frustrated when you don't have a day of appointments lined up. A lead is a lead is a lead, but I'm telling you, the direct mail leads that NAA uses are by far and away the best leads out there. Now, they're also the most expensive, but the lead is what it is. Your return of investment, your ROI on it is still phenomenal. I mean, it's incredible. That's all I've ever used. Point being is you got to get in front of people, calling the leads, getting referrals, all that kind of stuff. You've got to put in the work to get in front of people. So when you're in front of people, what, as a brand new agent, when you're in front of people, what's going through my mind as a brand new agent? What am I supposed to be doing next? Where am I'm licensed. I want to help people. I've got the heart for it. I want to make a lot of money. I want to kill it in this business. So here's when you're in the home, you're sitting in front of your client. Obviously, you've got to connect with them. Andy Albright, Stephen Davies, like any of the, that have been around for a while and have done trainings and stuff, your number one responsibility that you have to do with people, and this is true in sales, it's true in recruiting, it's true in any relationship you're going to have, whether you're going on a date, whether you're going out to meet in-law, a new family member that's coming in, or a new person that's joining the family. You're out and about and you're making new friends out at the restaurants or sporting events or whatever. Your number one priority, anytime you meet somebody that you before, your number one priority is you got to get them to like you. You have to get them to like you. Unless you're just like, oh, that's a horrible interest in them, and I'm just trying to not let them see me, whatever. If it's something that you're thinking, hey, this is the beginning of a relationship or the beginning of a friendship or whatever, like your number one priority, got to get people to like you, right? Duh. It's basic, but so many people come in with the mindset, hey, I'm an insurance agent. This homegirl wanted insurance, so I've got to go in and I've got to show her the best options. I got to educate her in insurance, and boom, I got to get her taken care of. And we can past, hey, people do business with people they like and they trust. People hang out with people that they like and they trust. People date people that they like and they trust. People are friends with people they like and they trust. That is a common, that is like the basic foundational principle of relationship, business, personal, family, whatever. You've got to get people to like you. So when you're sitting in the home, and in my mindset, I'm just like, okay, I'm assuming that agents know, hey, get the people to like you, like whatever, right? Here's what's going to happen. But in talking to agents over the years, hundreds of agents over the years, and it's been like, okay, walk me through what happened, walk me through the process. And it's just like, yeah, I got to the door, they were nice. I said hello. We went and sat at their kitchen table, and I started talking to them about how they could get this term with this return of premium and get their money back if they didn't die during the term. And they really were excited about it, and they wanted to think about it, but they needed to look at their budget, and they're going to call me. And it's just like, bro, they're not going to call you. They don't. Like, no, but this one time somebody did call me and I went back, right, that was an exception. And we don't build our business based off the exception. We build our business based off the general rule of thumb. And the general rule of thumb is people are not going to call you once you're gone and out of their house. But right. And your business card went out with the trash the next morning. Like, people are not going to call you back and say, hey, come back. Why? If you're getting, let me think about it, you don't have that trust and that likability. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crash your party. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. But if you let me think about it, we need to check our budget, blah, blah, blah. They don't like you and trust you. They don't think you're a bad person. That trust and that likability just wasn't built enough. That rapport So that's your number one priority when you get started in this business and you get in front of people. You've got to get them to like and trust you. Well, Mark, how do I do that? That's a different call. We're not talking about, what we're talking about is, hey, assuming that the rapport is built, the likability is there, what is the practical steps when I'm sitting in the home in front of people, like I do? Where's my mindset? Where am I going next? What's the next step? What's my process? That's what we're going to focus on over the next 30 minutes. So you're in the home, assuming the rapport is built, the likability is there, the trust is there, and you're talking business, right? Hey, what was the purpose of the lead when you sent this in? What were you concerned about? What did you want this to do? This is where we're going now. Like, what's next? I'm a brand new agent. I feel like holes. I know this business is awesome. I can make a ton of money. These people like me and trust me. And now what's next? That's what we're focusing on tonight. So when you're in the home, okay, I get calls all the time, and this is fine, but I'm trying to so dependent on, they told me these meds, they said these conditions, and now I got to call Rachel, I got to call Mark, I got to call Nick, I got to call Mike. Like, if you need to call, have our numbers, have our resources. And I'm trying to help you figure out in these next few minutes is, hey, how can I help my clients? How can I get the resources and the information that I need to help my clients get what they need? If I need outside help through calling Mike, Nick, Rachel, Mark, whatever, then I'll do that if I need to, but the resources are in front of you. So what I'm going to show you here today, and this is going to be, if I can do the share screen thing that is so, I'm going to show you where to go. Y'all are familiar with the underwriting grids. I'm not talking about the Alliance quoting / grid portal that you pay $15 a month for. That all was just started within the last 10 to 12 months. That's not something that's been around. So that's not, I personally don't use that. And I'm going to tell you why. I've got a lot of obviously experience, years of doing this. I'm very familiar with the products. I'm very familiar with the pricing. I'm very familiar with the underwriting guidelines for the different products. So my point is not to show you, hey, put in this medication and stuff. If you're using that and you've been successful with it and it's been very helpful, keep using it. Like, by all means, keep using it. I'm not discouraging or downplaying it by any means. I'm just not familiar with it because I don't use it. What I use is and even to this day, if I run across a situation I'm not 100% sure on, I'll go look at the underwriting grids that are university, our NAA Alliance University webpage. And so here I'm going to share this screen here. Excuse me. Let's see. Share screen. We're going to do this one. We're going to hit share. All right. So everybody should be able to see my screen right now. Message in the chat if you can't. This right here is your home page. All right. $53,000 paid out in the last 30 days. Guys, I'm telling you how this business is life-changing. That's more than double what I year at my previous job before I found this business. It would take me a year to get $22,000 at my previous job. And now 30 days, we've had over 53,000 in commissions just in the last 30 days. Like, that's life-changing money right there. I'm telling you right now, if this country boy from North Georgia can do this, anybody can do this business. Okay. But what I want to show you on the screen is where you go to find these underwriting grids. And this is so important. You will need these underwriting grids in the home, especially if you're brand to be able to help your clients and have the knowledge and the information that you need. And again, you can always call us and reach out to us with questions. I'm not discouraging that, but I'm telling you, these underwriting grids will answer that you have. So if your upline or your agency manager or those of us that are pretty knowledgeable about these products and stuff are busy, or we're tied up at home on a phone call with a carrier and you can't reach us, this is where, this is going to be your go-to. Use this first and then questions. Okay. So you're on the ARC, right? This tab right here, resources. Click on resources and scroll down to AU, Alliance University Advanced. Everybody got that? Advanced resources. and then you're going to click right on advanced resources. It's going to redirect you to the NA page. You're going to have to log in. I was just logged in on this a few minutes ago, so it's still showing that I'm logged in. The login is the same as your ARC log. NAA University page. You got your ATMs, your Alliance training manuals, you got your business tools, blah, blah, blah. Again, at the top, another tab that says resources, and you're going to come here to underwriting grids. Underwriting grids. Click on underwriting grids. Mortgage protection. Forget this stuff right here. Hospital indemnity, critical illness. If you're a Medicare agent and you have a history in Medicare services, Medicare sales, joining NAA, then you can use this. If you don't have a history in Medicare sales, for God's sake, please, please, please learn the life insurance stuff first and add Medicare to it later. Trust me, learn the life insurance stuff first, get well versed in it, and then do Medicare later. I've been doing this for 12 years. I don't touch Medicare. I don't. There's so many variables. There's so many. They got great residuals, right? You get the life insurance stuff down and get it down really damn good, you're going to make a hell of a lot more money than you will on residuals from Medicare. And I will go toe to toe with any Medicare across the country from any company and dispute this. The life insurance sales is where the big money's at. Life insurance and annuities. Medicare stuff, versed in Medicare, awesome, use it. If you're not versed in Medicare, stay the hell away from it. Seriously, you're going to confuse yourself. You're going to confuse your clients. You're going to get frustrated. Life insurance stuff first. All right, getting off my soapbox about that. So you're under underwriting grids, advanced resources. Here's your mortgage term expense grids. You click on the final expense one, boom. Here's the majority of conditions that a client is going to have or experience. And when you about which carrier is okay with which conditions, here's where they all are. All right. Blood clots. Hey, I've got a client that's on Xarelto. They had a blood clot in their leg 6 months ago. The doctor put them on Xarelto. They seem to be doing fine from what they've told me. All right, click on it. Blood clots. Boom. Look at CFG. Not available. Like, they don't care if there's blood clot issues. It's okay. Look over here to the two letters in big green. Okay. CFG. They don't care about blood clots. Foresters. Oh, looky. They don't care about blood clots either. Mutual of Omaha. Well, if they have unexplained gastrointestinal bleeding in the lungs, they can go graded. Your client with a blood clot in its leg is not unexplained gastro, so Mutual of Omaha will go preferred or level with them, not graded. Like this right here shows all our carriers. CVS Health. Look at this. Boom. Ask about blood clots. American Amicable. Boom. It's okay. Transamerica. If there's blood clots with no complications and diagnosed or last 2 years, they can go standard. If it's been treated or over 2 years, they could go preferred. However, if they have a blood disorder like anemia, blah, 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 then they could go standard. It's all right here on the grids. It's all right here on the grids. Well, what if I got somebody who's bipolar? Great question. Or on the grid. Oh, look, CFG doesn't care. Bipolar's okay. Foresters, bipolar's okay. Mutual of Omaha, bipolar depression in the last 4 years, and they're being treated for it or diagnosed with it in the last 4 years. Sorry, you got to go graded. See, again, it's all right here on the underwriting grid. So here's what you need to do. Go to this grid, and this is on my desktop. I've gone to this grid. Look here on my bookmarks tab on this particular web browser page that I have opened on my bookmarks tab. I've got the final expense underwriting grid here, and I've got the simplified issue term underwriting grid here. Like if I'm sitting at home and I'm talking to a client and they say they got this or they got that up here on my computer, okay, you've had some epilepsies and some seizures, or you've got epilepsy, or you've had some seizures. I click on epilepsy and seizures. It's going to decline them if they've had seizures within the last year. Well, what if they had one 2 years ago? Well, that's not within the last year. So 2 years is going to be okay. And guys, everything is spelled out for you right here. All right. So I'm done screen sharing right now. Let me get back to my stop share. All right. Y'all tracking with me so far? Like I'm basic, but I'm trying to sound basic. Like this is where it's at. These grids are here's the crazy thing. You know how those grids got there? Somebody at the corporate office at NAA said, hey, I got actually it was probably multiple agents. And I'm sure I had this thought at one time years ago. What would be a great idea with this grid that a client could go or an agent could go look at all these conditions that these carriers ask about or that these clients have and say, hey, which carrier asked about it, which ones don't? If the carrier doesn't ask about it, then it's okay. Like clients will or agents will call me and they'll say, hey, Mark, the client was telling me they got this little this condition, it's blah, 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 and this is how it affects them, and they're taking the cool, which carrier are you going with? Well, I don't know. That's why I'm calling you. Okay, literally, I've never heard of that condition before. Let's go to the grid and look it up. And we go to the grid and we look it up. And then we go to the application, don't ask about it. And I'm like, listen, be literal with the application. Go by the questions on the application. If they don't ask about it, don't say anything. Don't, the client, they were experiencing this pain. And then like the next day it went up to their shoulder and then in the back of their head. And so they went to the doctor and the doctor said, you probably, you got some migraines or stuff, but the client's thinking like it's something else. Like, so what should I say? Nothing. Did they ask about pain in your knee up to your shoulder, up to the back of your head? And the doctor said, if it's migraines, like it's not migraines, let it, no, they didn't ask about it. Don't say anything about it. Like be literal with the questions. Well, it says on the application, in the last 2 years, have you had cancer, blah, blah, blah. And my client had cancer 17 years ago. Do you think they would be eligible for this? Okay. 17 years ago, and that's this long ago, and 2 years is what they care. So no, you should be fine. Yes, you're going to be fine. Be literal with the questions. Like, I'm not kidding. Be literal with the questions. All right. Well, so my client, they said they have cancer. It's like stage 4 colon cancer, and the doctors told them they've got like 3 months to live. But they're in good spirits, and he can still get up and go to his kitchen and fix breakfast and blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you think I should say to the insurance company? Okay, the question says, in the last 2 years, have they been diagnosed with, treated for, advised to receive treatment for internal cancer, blah? What's the answer to that? Yes. Yeah, they have. Okay. I'm glad they're feeling good. I'm glad he can fix his own dinner. I'm glad that's going to be a no. Like, you can't go with that product. I know, but easy with the questions, right? Well, Mark, how did you learn? I looked at the applications. I read the questions. I compared them. I looked at the grids. I cares about this. This carrier doesn't. Well, the client has this. Okay, this carrier cares about it. Don't go with that carrier. This carrier doesn't care about it. Yeah, that's the one you want to go with. So like blood clots, Mutual of Omaha, they had gastrointestinal internal bleeding in the last 12 months for a blood clot in the gastrointestinal, wherever the hell that is, and they had it. Don't go there. Well, what about CFG? Right. CFG said it's okay. Right. So I'm going to go with CFG. Right. Those grids are extremely helpful. Brand seasoned agents, those grids are extremely helpful in helping agents see, hey, if you've got this condition, this company and this company and this company, they're cool with it. These companies, they're not. They don't like that, or they're going to put you graded. All right, cool. Then we're going with the ones that's cool. Now, understand, and I've said this, if you look at the grid and you've still got questions, or it doesn't make sense, or you're just not sure, pick up the phone and call us. But don't sit there and be like, okay, they got this medication, this medication, this medication. Boom, I got to call Mark. I got to call Nick. Got to call Rachel. Got to call Mike. If you're brand new and you need to call, it's kind of a dichotomy here. I'm saying like, hey, do this, and then I'm saying don't do this. No, pick up the phone and call us, please. Don't miss a sale because you didn't call us, or pick up the phone, call us. But what I'm saying is do your due diligence, do your homework, like use the resources that are given to you. And here's actually, this is best case scenario. I love the calls that I get from agents when they're like, Mark, hey, here's the deal real quick. I'm sitting with so-and-so. They said they're taking and they've been diagnosed with this. I looked at the undergrid, and from what I can tell, it looks like American Amicable be okay with this. I looked at CFG, I looked at Mutual of Omaha, they got problems with it. It looks like American Amicable and Foresters are okay with this. Am I reading that correct? And I'm going to be like, yeah, you're right. It's American Amicable and Foresters. American Amicable is more expensive. Foresters is much cheaper. Foresters does a phone interview right there at the point of sale. You're going to get an instant there. Go with Foresters. That's best case scenario, when an agent will sit there and say, hey, listen, I've looked at the grids. This is so far. I'm just double checking with you to make sure I'm on the right track. God love you. Like, that is the best phone call that an upline, a manager can get from is, hey, here's what I've looked at, and this is what this is what I'm thinking. Can you correct me or tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me what I need to do? Beautiful. That, again, please hear me out. If you're brand new, brand spanking new, and you're just like, they like me and they trust me and I don't know what the hell I'm doing next, call me. Call Rachel. Call us. Dan, Dave, call us. We're here to help, right? What I'm trying to help you do is not be that agent that's so dependent on, okay, I'm in the home and I got and 300 appointments later, yep, got to call, got the medications right here, I got to call somebody. Use the resources that we have, because trust me, if you've run any amount of you know that, hey, I tried Mark, he didn't answer. I tried Rachel, she didn't answer. Why? Because we're still running business. We're traveling and training agents. We're going to appointments. We're going to meetings. Sometimes I see somebody, I'm on the phone with an insurance company asking about my client's information and what they've got in their insurance, and I can't take your call right then and there. Give me about 5-10 minutes and I'll call you back and quick 20-second spiel about what, how to help that client. But I can't take every phone call that comes in. Nick can't take them all. Rachel can't take them all. Utilize the resources that are there, and those underwriting grids are absolutely valuable. Here's thought number 2. Do not run quotes. Do not tell people what you can and can't help them with until you've got all RX and DX. RX is prescription, DX is diagnosis. Until you X and DX. Do not quote, do not tell a client what you can and can't do for them until you know everything about them. If you've run any number of appointments, hey, client told me in this medicine, we did an application, they got declined, and the insurance company's asking about all these other meds, and I called that, hey, the insurance company wants to know about this. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be taking that, but I don't, I feel good. I don't, doctor misdiagnosed. You've been there, you know what I'm talking about. All RX and DX. Ask your clients, hey, Mike, you said you're taking now, this is all your medications that you take regularly, correct? Okay. In the last 2, 3, 4 years, are there other medicines you've been prescribed that maybe you're not taking, or you period of time and the doctor took you off of it? Because here's the deal, man. Insurance companies, they're going to go back like 7, 8 years, and they're going to see everything you've ever been prescribed and filled. So medicines from months ago, years ago, that the insurance company can see that you're not telling me about, then it looks like we're just telling them about a few, but not all of them. So that's why I need to know to make sure, hey, we got the best options to help you get the best, right? All RX, all DX, diagnosis and prescription history needs to be known before you can accurately tell your client, hey, based off this information that you're giving me, this option that we have to help you. Y'all tracking with me? So that's in the home. And I told y'all this little series was going to be 2 to 3 phone Zoom calls. I'm telling you right now, like I've got like 30 page, and I could go for about 2 hours and 30 minutes with just what's on this page. I'm not going to do that tonight. I promise. We're only going to go about 2 hours and 10 minutes. But no, we're definitely going to have to do part 3 just off of this right here. So in the home, utilize those underwriting grids. Oh, here's what's cool. Most everybody, literally everybody who's an insurance agent has a cell phone, right? A smartphone. Here's what I would do. I would go on the ARC on your phone. I showed you how to do it on your computer. It's the same thing, just a lot smaller. ARC on your phone, go to resources, go to AU resources, click on that, log in, go to resources under AU advanced resources, go to underwriting grids, pull up the underwriting grid web page for final expense, and then the other one for simplified issue term. Hold long press it on your phone, save to home screen. Boom, you got the underwriting grids right in your pocket every time you're sitting with a client. And a client, my doctor diagnosed me with this, I'm taking medicine for this. Pull it up on your phone, underwriting grid, boom. All right, which that? Nope. Foresters, they don't like that. CFG don't like that. Mutual of Omaha don't like that. Americo, all right, they're cool with it. All right, let's go Americo. That's how you can access that information at your fingertips. And then if you're not sure, whatever, call us. Seriously, call us, but try and do your homework first to get it. And like I said, dear God, if you're running 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 plus appointments, that underwriting grid's got to be your go-to. It's got to be your go-to. It's kind of like, hey, my 4-year-old, my wife was putting her to bed while I've been on this call. My wife is not sitting up there in a rocking chair with a fresh formula and rocking her to sleep with a warm bottle of formula or milk. She's 4 years old, right? Homegirl 30 minutes ago, she finished her ice cream. My wife helped her brush her teeth, and she's up there rocking her for a little bit and tucking her. As a baby, you're totally at the mercy of your parents. Totally. Okay. If I a brand new baby in her crib or on the floor or whatever and left the house for a couple hours, that baby's survival rate is not very good. A few hours, whatever. If I walked out the door on my 4-year-old, like she knows how to go to the pantry and eat pirate's booty or gummy bears. Like she knows where to get snacks. She knows how to refrigerator thing, right? She's getting older. She's learning. She's been around the world 4 times, or she's been on the world that's gone around the sun 4 times. She's learned stuff along the way. She can walk to where she needs to walk. She can go to the bathroom. Like she as a brand new agent, that's going to happen. You're going to learn more. You got to go out and get better and learn. But what you want to do is make sure that you're utilizing the resources that we have as efficient and effective as you can be, as fast as you can be. You do that, you're going to help more people. You help more people, you're going to make more money. Okay. By any means, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not discouraging. Don't call us, but don't sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I got to call them like right now because they just told me they were on blood pressure medicine. Make sure that you're utilizing the resources and then call, double check, confirm. And then next time you run where you're sitting with another client that's in a similar situation health-wise, hey, this is where we go. This is what we do. That's why do you call me? Why do you call Nick? Why do you call Rachel? Because we've been doing it enough where we know what the hell we're talking about, and we know tell you. You do enough appointments and keep learning and remembering and implementing that in your future appointments, people are going to be calling you and asking you for help, right? It's the way it works. It's a system. It's a duplicatable system, but make sure you're utilizing the resources that we have. Shoot, it is. I got like 3 minutes. So that's in home. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up with this, and then we're doing literally part 2 of these notes in the next couple weeks. Next 2 to 3 weeks, I promise we're going to do part 2. I'm going to end on this. And this by itself is going to be a whole nother phone call, but do not run quotes for clients. Talk about how you can help them until number 1, I just said it, RX and DX, all prescriptions, all diagnosis. But number 2, do not Do not run quotes for clients, tell them how you can help them until you know what coverage they are already paying on, what they already have in place. That is a big, big, big um, insurance salesman um, uh, mode of operation, MO. That's a big insurance salesman sit there and throw out quotes, throw out options without finding currently paying on. You are doing yourself and your clients a disservice if you just take them that they have this policy and that policy, or God forbid, you don't even ask what they have in place already. Start jumping into quotes and jumping into, yeah, we can do this for you. We can help you with this. You're doing them a huge by sitting there and just, okay, good, you've got that coverage in place. Well, let me help you with this since you said you needed this for this. The vast majority of my premium, annual premium that I submit, and as God is my witness, the vast majority comes from premiums are already paying to other crappy companies or other crappy products. And as an that gives a crap about people and wants to do right by people, it is your moral obligation. It is your fiduciary responsibility, your moral obligation to your clients, the families that you say you care about and you're trying to protect. It is your moral obligation and your fiduciary responsibility to clients to find out what they're paying on, to make sure that that coverage and what they're paying for is in their best interest currently. And again, that's a whole nother phone call. We'll expand that in Insurance 501. But hear me out. Do not quote clients. Do not tell them what you can do until you know what they've been diagnosed with and treated for medication wise, and what they are currently paying on, what current coverage they have in place. Biggest takeaway from this call tonight, part 2. Biggest takeaway is, hey, utilize the resources that are at your finger in order to help your clients. And the biggest thing is the underwriting grids. When you're sitting there, you've built the rapport. We're assuming the rapport is there, the trust and the likability is there. Hey, I'm sitting with my clients, right? I'm trying to figure out, what can I do to help them? Where do we go from here? You got to find out what they're paying on. Or I'm sorry, you got to find out what they've been diagnosed with, what they've been treated for medication wise. Go years. Don't just look at the 3 pills they brought out to you that they took this morning. Go back. Hey, what have you taken in the last 3 to 6 months? Cool. What about the last 3 to 6 years? Like, what have you been taking or diagnosed with that maybe you're not being treated for now, but you had this 2 years ago, 16 months ago, whatever? Because carriers are going to see all the medication prescription history that a client's had filled in the last 7 to 8 years or more. They're going to see all that. So if you just say, oh, they're taking these 3 medicines, clients got 18 different types of medicines that they've filled in the last 3 years, they're going to come back with a lot of questions. That stuff's going to get hung up in underwriting. It's going to get in pending, and it's going to sit there, and the insurance companies are going to. This is why you have to make sure you know, hey, thoroughly, this is the client's health history before I can start quoting them. Know their health history, and then know what they are currently paying on, what coverages their premiums are going to right now. And that part, like I said, is a whole different conversation. But do not start throwing out numbers and quotes to people unless you know total health history and what coverage they're currently paying on. And when you find out their health history and you're not sure based off of certain health conditions that they mentioned or medications that they're taking, go to the underwriting grids. Utilize them. That's what they're there for. That's time, energy, effort, and money was put into designing and creating those things so that agents have them at their fingertips. And then, call us. We'll help. We'll guide you. We'll direct you. We'll point you in the right direction. When we talk about, hey, go look here. Have you checked here? No, I haven't. Okay, listen, make sure in the future that you're looking here because this answer is right here. I'm going to show you how to find it in the future. There's a whole more answers there that you can find out too if you just take a look at this real quick and then call us. All right. I cannot believe it's already 9:46 p.m. on the on the East Coast. If you got friends, family in the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, Eastern Alabama, the Carolinas, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. There's a big storm coming, hurricane, starts with an Ian. This is going to sound real tongue in cheek, but I'm serious on this. Like, if you've got family in those states and that hurricane's bearing down on southern Florida as we come up the whole Southeast, you better call those family members, make sure they got good life insurance on them. I'm not trying to sound morbid. I'm really not. I'm not trying to sound funny. One of the biggest things that gets people thinking about life insurance and what their financial situation looks like to protect their family as far as life insurance goes is when tragedy happens. It's when tragedy happens. Boom, found out, not me, but just hypothetically, found out my uncle was yesterday, like got the news. My cousin called me and said his dad unexpectedly passed away in a car accident, and my family's devastated. Like, he was 47 years old. Oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. And guess what? It's too late. He didn't have life insurance. Who knows if they're going to be able to keep the house, but he didn't have life insurance. And it's like, man, if they would have known he was going to be in a car accident yesterday morning, they would have done prepared and got life insurance, right? Tragedy strikes and people automatically think, well, shoot, I wish we would have done this. And if you're close to the situation, you're thinking, well, crap, God, that sucks that happened. My heart goes out to them. If that were to happen to me tomorrow, what is my family? And you start thinking about life insurance, right? Inevitably, when there's massive disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, whatever, and we hear people died in it, or you hear, hey, somebody I know passed away in that event, like, it's too late. They can't go back and get life insurance. So like I said, I'm not trying to be funny, but in all seriousness, if you know people that live in especially Florida, I mean, all of Florida is going to get whacked, but especially the western coast, Tampa, like that area, like Florida is going to get hammered in the next couple of days. Be thinking about those people. Let them know you care about them. Let them know they're in your thoughts and prayers. But by God, like make sure they've got good life insurance in place just in case. Just if nothing happens to them this weekend or later this week, great, awesome, answer to prayer. But they still got to have life insurance. They still got to have good coverage in place, because they never know when the next potential disaster or next potential danger lies around the corner. They need to have good coverage in place. So instances like this often get people thinking along those lines. Guys, listen, I love training. I love helping. I love teaching. I just hate that I can't get through everything that I want in a 35, 40, 50-minute phone call. So keep tuning in. We're going to keep hitting a lot of these basics. We're going to keep hammering. It's going to sound repetitious. It's going to sound mundane. Heard that before. Like, he's talked on this before. You keep plugging in, you keep doing the do. I'm telling you, like, it's going to happen where you're just gonna be like, God, it just clicked. It clicked. I've heard it 1,000 times before, and for whatever reason, this time it clicked, and it's game changing. Game changing. Seen it happen many times. It's happened in my life in the insurance industry over and over. Keep plugging into these calls. Encourage people to get on a massive team, and we will absolutely kill it and dominate the industry as we learn how to do this, as we work together, as we encourage one another and keep plugging together. All right. Love you guys. Peace out till the next time. If you missed the first one, go listen to the first one. If you know people that weren't on this one, have them go listen to the first one and this one, and tune in over the next couple of weeks. We're going to keep growing on this series. So love you guys. Take care. Be safe.